Welcome everyone to the Eiffel Tower. It's day 6 of the games. Let's have a recap of the group games.
Hi everyone and welcome back to the Inside the Circle podcast. Today we are recapping day 6 of the games, which was another full day of group matches. Once again, I'm joined by Alan. Alan, how was your day today in Paris?
Well, I woke up this morning to an unreal thunderstorm. Probably shook the building here. I felt like it was probably in Belfast in the mid-80s. Yeah, I was at judo today.
Cool.
Right beside the Eiffel Tower. It's really interesting to watch the discipline of these players and these athletes. They fight for 4 minutes, but it could be over in 4 seconds, and they've been training for 4 years.
Yeah,
I mean, it is unbelievable. The discipline and the respect is just unreal, and it goes across combat sports. People think, yeah, these guys are knocking 7 bells, and they are doing it, but there's still this respect. I mean, they bow at each other. The referees do it. It was just brilliant. It was really good to watch. It's something I haven't seen for a number of years, and I absolutely loved it. It was great.
Brilliant.
While I was doing that, you were obviously watching India versus Belgium.
Yes, top of the table clash. It was a 2-1 win for Belgium. It was 45-55 in possession, and circle entries again. It was 11-14, both in favour of Belgium. It was a very close match. Now, it was very even play going into that first quarter. Probably Belgium had a wee bit more attacking pressure, but considering both teams have already qualified, I think they were both taking it a bit. Probably watching it, you would go, no, they're not taking it easy, but they were definitely probably half a gear down for both sides, just because they know there's more important matches ahead, opposed to trying to fight each other. Yeah,
and they want to say keep their players safe.
Absolutely. So really, that's what happened in the first quarter. Now, they did extend the quarter and half times today because of the heat, so they got a bit more of a rest between, which was always good, and that happened throughout the day. Going in the second quarter, India scored from an open play hit from Abhishek. It was stolen from a misfield from the Belgians, and it was hit from the edge, and it was a rocket to the bottom corner. It was a really impressive goal. I do believe that was his first goal of the games as well. But from this point on, Belgium applied the pressure. They showed their experience in Olympic Games matches, and early on in the third quarter, they scored. Stockbrooks finished the ball really, really well. It was a good team goal. Belgium then just had most of the possession and pressure really for the rest of that quarter. They got their second goal from a penalty corner. It was a scramble in front of the Indian keeper, and John Doman, the most capped player in the world, decided to get a sneaky poked in goal. Going in really to the fourth quarter, it stayed the same. Not much changed. It was good pressure again from Belgium. The Belgians had to defend a penalty corner right at the end of the game from India, and the left postman saved a great save off the line, probably to keep it 2-1. And really, it was a close game on stats. It was a close game to watch it. Both teams knew that they'd qualified, so it wasn't.
Safety first
for India.
Yeah,
absolutely. You had maybe a slightly different game with Australia and New Zealand.
Yeah, local derby-ish.
Yes.
Australia 5-0. That's
okay.
it. Australia put New Zealand under a lot of pressure. They really did. And New Zealand, they've done this every time. First thing that's happened, they've referred it, and they've lost 4 out of 4.
Oh no!
It's something that the games, I've noticed that some of the guys are holding off their referral right to the end because at a really critical match, they just might need it. And I can take the hit early on in the game, but I think they're some of the teams are now sitting on the referral, and I think others are just wasting them. And New Zealand did this. Australia had some great defence because New Zealand did put them under a bit of pressure, and really that continued into quarter 2. So no goals in that. Then Australia broke the deadlock from Wickham wrong footing Dixon in goal, and then they get their second really quickly. Glover's rebound off the goal post and put it in. Quarter 3, New Zealand were still, they weren't lying down, and they've got they still want to win out of this, and they've a match tomorrow, and they need to get the win on it. So they were still playing quite well, but Australia got their third with a well worked play down the baseline by Wickham for Willett to score, and really Australia just continued this high pace, and to me that's where I started to see New Zealand starting just to nearly say to wilt a bit, yeah. In the fourth quarter, they did give it another go. They probably the slightly longer break. There was a bit more information given to them, and I think they went out all guns blazing. But it just didn't come to anything for them. Australia counter-attacked and scored their fourth from a penalty corner. Again, Glover scoring off Dixon's pads into the goals, and then the fifth he scored again from a drag flick, which gave him the hat trick for the day. Tom Wickham, I've got to point him out. I thought he was excellent. He set up goals. He got one himself. He's just thereabouts all the time. And it's really noticeable. I have noticed that there are some really key players. And when they play and they just distribute the ball. And for some of these guys, they never actually score. They're workhorses, and they're just having a great tournament, all of them that we've mentioned. Look, Australia dominated the whole game, and New Zealand probably are going to be disappointed because circle penetrations 29-29.
Oh, so it was even.
But it wasn't. It was no way did it feel a 29-29. And when I saw the stats and looked at it, I went, that's not on, But anyway, you then had Argentina-Ireland.
Yes, I did, and this was an important game for both teams, like all these games have been. It ended up 2-1 to Argentina. Again, looking at the stats, it was 48-52 in terms of possession for Ireland, and it was 14-13 for circle penetrations for Argentina. So it was
same old.
that close. Started off really well for Ireland, and really it continued. Their passing and play structure was brilliant throughout the game. I have to admit, it was good attack and play from both teams. Ireland attacked, and Argentina brought everyone behind the ball to defend. So they did, which says something.
That does say something. They're playing Ireland, but they're still doing that. So they do, they've done their research and they've made those sort of calls. Absolutely.
Really, Argentina's only real attacking presence was from counter attacks. Going into the second quarter, very quickly after the restart, they got a penalty corner, and it was a flicked in from Domine. And really, after this, Ireland again kept the pressure going. It was a good scramble defense from Argentina again throughout the game, but it was the passion shown by the both teams because this game mattered for both of them. There was no, sure, we'll take 30 seconds here to try and set up a free hit or a head out. It was all guns blazing throughout the match. And then, and you heard me from Paris, Ireland scored a penalty corner flick. Lee Cole slotted in. Took a deflection off the postman, but the ball went in the net. And I would probably say most of Ireland, I'm surprised you didn't hear me in Paris. I scared the living daylights out of Stephen and Rachel, who were working in the office at the same time, with my celebrations, let alone the Irish players. It was a well-deserved goal. It was a good attack pressure. Though Argentina did go down the far end and had a penalty corner, and Schuth had a penalty flick right into the top net. It was a great goal. It was thoroughly annoying. Going into the second half, again, back and forth attacking opportunities from both teams. Ireland got a green card for actually taking too long in a penalty corner. The injector didn't, after the whistle was blown, he was taking too long to basically start the short corner. So he was given a green card. But after that, Ireland got a stroke with 13.9 seconds left. and it was saved.
Oh no!
Yeah, that was my reaction. It was saved. It was a good stroke, but it was a good save. Okay. I must say, leading in from that and leading into the fourth quarter, Argentina's keeper kept the result Argentina wanted. Okay. He saved penalty corner attempts, strokes, open play, everything from Ireland. He was critical for Argentina. So he had a great game. And you could see, again, the passion. Every time he made a save, every time he put the ball around the far side of the post, he was up and celebrating. He was getting his team up and ready for it. So again, it tells a story that actually celebrating these kinds of things was big for them. They knew this was a key match.
Yeah, it was a key match, really, because Ireland really had to win and win their next two matches to get in, to have a chance. Of getting fourth.
So really was a frustrating fourth quarter for Ireland, because again, Argentina just absorbed the pressure. They used their experience to see the game out, and like I said, it was won because of the keeper Santiago from Argentina, because he saved the many Ireland chances. So he did.
I have to say, the guys. I mean, Mark Tumblety, the coach, again a Banbridge guy, he must be gutted. Like the players and everything else, the amount of time and effort these guys put in, I appreciate, where they are and everything else, but it's a great show for them, and I'm trying not to be patronizing, but it just seems to be, they've had a great tournament and just not finished at the end.
Absolutely, but it was actually Stephen that said to me after that game, if you look at all of Ireland's results, 2-0, 2-1, 2-0, 2-1, they weren't hammered for being the team that just able to qualify in the end. They just scraped in to the Pro League, and they just scraped into the Olympics. They didn't embarrass themselves. They really put themselves out there as a high quality team. I think it took some of those top teams by surprise a little bit, and definitely I think the respect's there for the players and for the team.
It has to be the Pro League. The Pro League's obviously helped them considerably. Yeah. And I'll put my hand up and say, it's going to be embarrassing playing in the Pro League for Ireland, and I'm so delighted it was wrong. I mean, they've had good wins over Belgium. They've had other results, but it's all learning, and they have to be. And I'm sure Mark Tumblety's the same. He needs Ireland, and everyone needs Ireland to be at that top level. If you try to equate it to the Ireland Sevens rugby guys, 4 or 5 years ago, they were in the third division, and they really just moved on, and that can only help Irish hockey.
Absolutely. That led into probably a game of the day, from my opinion, and probably the opinions of people that mattered more, Mr. Simon Mason and Kate Richardson-Walsh. They have very kindly helped us out and decided to probably show us up a bit more on their recapping skills of a match. So over to Simon.
I'm not sure.
Well, beg to differ. Over to Simon and Kate.
Okay, it's post-game. We're hoping this gets picked up on sound, but post-game we've just watched France versus Great Britain. Two teams a bit apart in world ranking, but genuinely we'll focus on one game because I haven't got enough words to describe how good that was. Your thoughts?
Yeah, they went toe-to-toe, and I think it was tactically an interesting game. I think France obviously both teams needed to win, but France really came out really needing that win, and then I think you could see that in their performance a little bit. They had a bit of an edge, and although Great Britain did hold most of the possession and they were creating most of the chances, when they're still in it, it was just always, it was on the edge of your seat stuff.
And I know we can get really geeky about the hockey, but right from the very first moment with the anthems, the crowd, the atmosphere, it could easily. I've been at finals, as you haven't, but not with that atmosphere. I mean, it was superb here. Yeah,
the crowd was jumping. There's a lot of French supporting. Well, to be fair, there's a lot of GB flags all around the stadium. As you can see, Drake's going over and giving it the, want to hear from you. It was quality atmosphere in here.
In that first half, French goalkeeper was outstanding, and they kind of built a wall, and then off the back of that, Great Britain had territory in possession, but France took the lead, a little fortunately, but it just showed that it doesn't matter how long you get pinned back, if you've got that belief then you can achieve some really remarkable stuff.
Yeah, it just takes one moment, and that's it. Whilst you're not converting in corners, I think for Great Britain, that is ultimately what undid them a little bit today. Thankfully, it didn't cost them in the end, but they need to convert those corners, because if you've got all the territory, you're creating those opportunities, you're winning county corners, you need to get something out of it, otherwise the opposition are always in the shout.
And so then Wallace got penalty stroke after Great Britain, and they had 16 penalty corners and got the stroke from it. That was all they got. Albury then got his first GB goal to put them into a 2-1 lead, so he'll be delighted. But then right at the end, France created chances. They went, even with all the physicality of one-on-one, 40 seconds to go, they're winning double penalty corners, and that was the reaction that you had, hands on your face. So close to equalising.
It's so easy from up here, and I've done it obviously a million times. You know, it's a rush of blood to the head. There's one French player running into 23 and 4 or 5 GB players around him, and there's just a bit of a stick coming in, and it's an easy counter corner for the umpire to give, unfortunately. But it's just those moments, like, can you still think clearly under the pressure? Like I say, I've given plenty away those areas before.
So France, therefore, 2 points, 2 draws. Not sure in my head, I can't even remember. They're playing South Africa last, so they could get 5, which I think. What have Spain got now? Is that done?
Yeah, that's it.
That's done. So they're out. South Africa are out. So the quarterfinalists we know, but of those 4 quarterfinalists, it feels like any one of the 4 with those last games could finish pretty much anywhere from 1st to 4th. So a whole load of action still to come. One more round of games in both pools. Hope you're enjoying the same as what we are from here in Paris.
Thank you very much, Simon and Kate, for your insight. I totally agree. I think that GB played really well, so they did, but France were sort of unlucky not to come away with something a bit more, I think. Though you could look at it that this was the second match in a row that GB decided to play hockey and score goals in the last few minutes. So hopefully that doesn't come back against maybe a slightly stronger team to sort of bite them in the backside. So again, I then had the pleasure of watching the GB women against the US women. 5-2 to GB. And it was a strong performance from them. USA were strong in their attacking ability as well. It was 49-51 in terms of possession for GB, and circle entries again 14-17 for GB. So it was a very close game. GB scored really early on though. Hamilton pushed it past the keeper because this GB were just applying loads of attacking pressure, and because that the US really struggled to come out from their defensive line. Though all of a sudden down the far end, USA got a great goal. Tamer scooped the ball into the net from a rebound off the keeper. And I think at this point that goal really pushed the US to start attacking a bit more. And that led into that second quarter, really back and forth play between the two teams. GB did score via a penalty corner variation, great variation. Tess Hard had the final touch, though it was a bit unlucky from the post woman as well. USA then did score their second goal. Tamer again, reverse hit inside the circle into the opposite corner. There was no chance of any keeper really saving that. Second half, going into quarter 3, a lot of GB pressure for this half. They were clearly told we need to strengthen up and really show our might here. GB got a breakaway goal. Hamilton with a great run down the side of the pitch, reverse cross in, and it was finished by French. And like I said, a lot more pressure from GB this quarter. And then they got their 5th goal from a Jones rebound. Great rebound. Ball came up there and almost like a cover drive in cricket. Great finish, so it was. And really that sort of set the tone for the rest of the game in terms of GB's pressure. Though US in the 4th quarter did keep knocking at the door, but just nothing came from it. They did pull their keeper, but it didn't amount to much in the end. Though when they did pull their keeper, GB had several chances to score, but actually the USA defended really well with an empty net, so they can take away that as well. Like, a couple more goals there at the end, but they defended well. Like I said, GB just capitalized more than the US did, and I think the US will be disappointed in that statistics, really.
Yeah, well, look, I had the joy of watching Spain and South Africa play
Brilliant.
It has to be the worst match I've watched this Olympics anyway.
Oh no.
Yeah, it was just awful. It really was. Spain won 1-0, and that also says it all in this sort of, it wasn't even a high octane match. It just wasn't a good game. Spain had 17 penetrations to 4 into the circle for South Africa. After 90 seconds, South Africa lost the referral again. And again, that goes back to what I said earlier. The other teams haven't learnt how to use the referral well or do whatever they need to do. Spain put high pressure on the whole way through. They got 2 penalty corners. They got nothing from it, really. And then with about 40 seconds left of the first quarter, Spain got a penalty corner. The South African broke the line and then got sent to the halfway line. So it was a bit like you were talking earlier, your injector and things that got there getting warned and whatever else. But look, Spain then just Mara Lopez hit it at the back post for the ball to be put into the net, and in a way that was it. The game, we could have all gone home. The second quarter, just there was another couple of shots at goal. South Africa started to come back in a little bit. And then after half-time, 5 minutes in, Spain had another penalty corner, well-worked round the defence, but it, again, just put it wide. Both teams were failing to put the ball in the net or even getting anything from it. And it just wasn't a good game. It wasn't, it wasn't nasty. It was just a poor game. It was like quite lethargic at times. South Africa got a shot on goal with Duval, but the goalkeeper made a good save. Fourth quarter, South Africa 4, 2 penalty corners, Spain 4. It didn't take off. South Africa then took their goalkeeper off. They could have taken their goalkeeper off and brought all their subs on. It wasn't going to make any difference. It just was a poor game. South African keeper had a little bit to do. Lloyd was quite good, but really there's nothing to report here except it was just a poor game, unfortunately. Look, we're always due one. That's my personal opinion watching the game. Other people might think differently, but you then had Japan, France?
Yes, which was same scoreline, 1-0 Japan. Possession-wise, 52-48 for Japan, and circle entries were 18-16. A close game, but the experience level between the two teams was shown, I think. I think Japan were able to manage the game throughout a little bit more than the French. Now, I will absolutely take my hat off to the French supporters. They were out in force, similar to the men's game earlier, like Simon and Kate were saying. Everyone was singing the national anthem. They were singing the national anthem throughout the match. It had that element of the French supporters were proud that their team was there. They were willing every pass, hit, tackle to do better, and it was brilliant to see. And because of that, and the French keeper was celebrating everything and hyping the crowd up. It was brilliant to see. So going into quarter one, it was early pressure from Japan, but actually France scored first. They did. However, it was overturned by an umpire referral for an infringement just before the ball, which was unlucky.
Which is a shame.
This could then lead to something a bit tighter. Japan scored right as the French player was green carded. So and the cameraman was following the French player going to the sideline. We didn't actually see the goal live.
Right.
So green card came. Japan took the ball, moved the 5 yards, crashed ball in, and Toriyama had a great deflection in. And this was actually Japan's first goal of the game, but also of the tournament. So it was great. It was great to see that for them. Quarter two, France came back with a lot of attack and pressure. However, that did sort of switch halfway through that quarter. So it was quite even by the end, though. We did another strange rule and action that we did see was we actually had to have a bully for both teams down in the Japanese 25 because the ball guy actually lifted the ball just before it went over the sideline. So therefore, it was a outside force on the ball, so we had to have a bully. So
embarrassing.
Yeah. Oh, you'd hate to be that.
The camera wouldn't. The camera wouldn't have zoomed in.
Oh god, no, definitely not.
No.
So again, it was an interesting rule to see because it's something that you don't normally see. Like I've never played with a ball patrol, so that situation's never been in. And I would say probably 95% of people that have ever had ball patrol on a match have probably never seen that rule enforced either. So it was interesting to see.
Sure, it was going over the line. It'll be fine.
I was just quickening it up for everyone. Going into the second half, French came out all guns blazing. I think they had a good team talk of, look at the support we've got behind us. Let's really go out and try and make this a show. And they did. They pushed a lot of counterattacks. Though, like I said, Japan just had that wee bit more experience, just the slow bits and pieces down throughout that quarter. And again, it was a very even game at that point. Still, going into the fourth quarter, some really good saves from the French goalkeeper. And like I said, she was then just getting hyped. She was hyping her team up, barking instructions, throwing fists at the crowd to cheer them up for the pressure. Unfortunately, it meant it didn't come from anything. The Japanese in the last 2 minutes of the game just stuck it up their jumper, played possession, time wasted to professionalism like I've never seen before. It was brilliant. And I think it was just the experience in the end that really sort of did it for the Japanese. It was a close game throughout. Like I said, similar chances in possession. It was just the key touch from the Japanese player at the key point in the game. Not much else could be separated between them.
Yeah.
Which probably leads quite nicely into your game, Argentina-Australia.
Yep, top of the table, so quite critical for positioning. This match, it ended 3-3, and
right.
At a certain point, I didn't think this was even going to be anywhere near this. Like first quarter, Argentina had a really quick penalty corner. Gozzolini deflected it inside the circle, and there was a bit of a bobble. And they had to take it again, and like it just set the tone for the game. The ball was then crashed in. Lara Casas scored, and just it was constant pressure. I think Australia looked like they were just caught on the back foot totally, and Argentina were at them. Their usual self, 100 miles an hour. But I have to say their close skill level in the first half was amazing. Absolutely brilliant. So 1-0, they were already up. And 30 seconds later, they get a penalty corner. And it is scored by Victoria Sala. And it just, everything was going for them. 2-0 up. And you're going, this could be a real... And you could nearly see the coach on the sideline. Everybody's just sort of looking, going, any chance we could start playing?
Yes.
It was very difficult to watch at times because you're going, yeah, this is meant to be the score. Quarter two, Argentina, 2 more penalty corners, and they were put past the post. Australia were on the back foot right from the start. As I said, they did get a penalty corner 20 minutes in, but the keeper made some more really good saves. I mean, both keepers involved in the game. At halftime, it was 61% to 39%. And to me, Argentina should have been 4-0 up, clear, 4-0 up, game over.
Yeah,
we're heading home, but no. Halftime, obviously the usual hairdryer stuff, and Australia sort of came back out again, and it started to really put pressure on the goalkeeper, putting the pressure onto the circle. They got a penalty corner which hit an Argentinian foot, clear as a bell, stroke, not a problem, and it was saved.
Yeah.
So, Constantino saved it. Hobbs just put it. It was a great save. It was an awkward height. She saved it with her pad, and I've written down here, that just sums up Australia's day straight away. Look,
also just I'm just going back to probably a previous statement that you've made, that we need to do something to change maybe penalties.
Yeah, look, I still
guaranteed goal every time.
Yeah, no, it'll be fine. It'll be fine. Yeah, it'll be all right. The Argentina then literally Hobbs then redeemed herself and got a goal within a minute of missing the stroke. Redeemed herself, and then another couple of minutes later, Australia took a referral. Balls crashed in from the right hand side, right across the goal. The Australian was about to reverse it in, sort of as it's going past, it deflected in, but the Argentinian defender's stick hooked it and prevented her from actually hitting the ball. They referred it, got that, and they actually got a stroke for it.
Right.
So not a penalty corner, they got a stroke, and a different player stepped up and hit the post.
Oh.
So yeah, my theory on penalty corners were, or penalty strokes are, maybe rethink that a bit. But look, Argentina then got another couple of penalty corners, put them wide, and with 85-ish seconds left on the clock, Australia scored, crossed the D, and Kershaw tipped it into the roof of the net, end of quarter. So it is now 2-2 going into the last quarter. And the excitement's building. I think the quality of play, Argentina started to dip in that third quarter, whereas Australia were starting to come up. And, it's a bit like the Dutch. You never write them off. So you don't. But look, the fourth quarter, Australia continued to play very well. In the 50th minute, Argentina got 2 penalty corners, got a deflection off the goalkeeper and in from Gozzolini. And Argentina are back 3-2. Fantastic.
Brilliant.
And then with 15.9 seconds, Australia get a penalty corner. Argentina review it, so therefore they kept the review right to the end, but didn't get it. The review was null and void. But there's one of those moments where they've just kept it, and it could have gone the other way, and they would have been fine, and you could have sort of got through the next 16 seconds or so. But the injection went out, and it bobbled, and it went in the air, and you went, "That's it." But they then got another penalty corner with just under 7 seconds to go. Penalty corner, Mara Williams stepped up and deflected the ball into the goal, 3-3. And I think Argentina were just absolutely gutted. To show you this sort of slight shift in that, Argentina had 14 circle penetrations and Australia 18. And it really was a game of two halves. Argentina, their speed and their skill level was phenomenal. I just think Argentina then just sort of burnt themselves out. Australia just came back in again, third quarter, fourth quarter, and you just can't write them off.
No, you can't. Not at this level anyway.
No, definitely not. On those 3D skills, I don't know if you've noticed it, and I'm not sure. It's the commentators are calling it 3D skills when a player runs with the ball on a stick. There's no 3D stuff there. It's just lifting the ball. Now, at what point does that become impossible for you to tackle?
It's a horrible one because it can go either way very easily. So, as long as you have the ball in the end of your stick at a safe height. So the ball is at the end of your stick and it's below waist, below knee. I can't remember the exact point of it is. But as long as it's below that, it's absolutely fine in a condensed area. As soon as you bring it higher to that, you've then brought it dangerous and it's normally a free against you. But if you're running like that, if the ball's at the end of your stick and the defense make a tackle and it hits your stick, it's obviously going to be a stick tackle. It's all about trying to put the person with the ball at the end of the stick to make a move so that instead of running straight, the ball, it's dead easy. Yeah. As soon as you go to put pressure on, you want to make it's that wee move that's going to move their stick and leave the ball is what you want.
Yeah.
Or they're going to try and do a tap, which then is more likely going to bring it dangerous and you get the free. But if you come in and just go, I'm having it, it's normally free against you.
And again, this is where at the lower levels it can lead to a bit of danger. But it don't get me wrong, it's a fantastic skill, and it's just great, just seeing these players be able to move the ball in the air like that and get themselves out of the amount of people have got themselves stuck in the back corner. And actually, it used to be, more times than enough, you lost the ball, and now you're taking it through 2 or 3 players and out, and then whatever else. I mean, the skill level is phenomenal.
Absolutely. And I just want to say, I could be completely wrong with all that I've just said about that lifting rule, by the way.
We'll always wait for the comments down below.
Oh, absolutely.
I'm sure there's plenty of umpires.
Can't wait for the absolutely scathing comments of probably how wrong I've been. But I must say, it's also been very helpful because on the clip that we posted about the pitches, about the penalty corner conversion rate being quite low, we got actually a few comments. Tommy Alexander, Scottish goalkeeper.
Oh yeah, Scottish, yeah.
A keeper that we know quite well, person we know quite well, came back and said, because it's a new pitch, the injections is quite slow in terms of a normal bedded in pitch that's been used for a couple of seasons. So because of that, yes, the guys are coming out a lot quicker because they're almost matching the pace of the ball. While previously, he said that the Euros were played on a well bedded in pitch and guys would get nowhere near the top of the circle because the ball was just coming out so much quicker. So it's stuff like that actually you don't think of.
No.
Because it is so new, it hasn't had that use of sort of where that ball travels from the injection point to the top of the D, and it's just bedded in a wee bit more. So comments like that really help. It does bring a bit of an insight, especially from an international keeper like Tommy there.
I think he was in Belfast last week playing as well.
Was it? Brilliant.
Some of the games. So yeah, good on him.
Absolutely. Really, to sum up the day and probably to sum up the last few of these group games, all of these lower end, what deemed to be a lower end team, have actually performed very well, in my opinion. Again, they've just lacked that finishing, and we've said it from day one. They've just lacked that finishing power. And again, I don't know if it is the lack of experience in these higher end games like the top teams would have in, say, the Pro League, and being in the Pro League year on year, playing that high level all the time, and your brain switched on to the pace of the game, and those nicks and final finishes can happen a wee bit easier. Or it's maybe the lack of not being able to train together constantly throughout the year, like some of those top would. But I would have to say none of the lower end teams, or deemed to be lower end teams, have done themselves a disservice throughout these games. Again, in my opinion.
Definitely not. I mean, if you think back to reviews, and we're thinking, we're saying France were going to get thrashed, South Africa going to get thrashed. Yeah, I say thrashed, generalizing, but they've shown they've done a great job. There've been high scoring matches, but if you look into the match, that's the way the match has been played. Yeah. And there weren't stuffings. They were just, as I said, both teams have had reasonably even, possessional percentages and things. So it's good on them.
Absolutely. But that sums up day 6. As always, guys, thank you very much for watching, and a very special thank you has to go out to Sam Mason and Kate Richardson-Walsh for the probably far more professional insights
indeed
we're ever going to give on this. But thank you very much to them.
Thanks a lot. Yeah,
thank you for watching. Comment below your moment of the day as always, and don't forget to like and subscribe. And you can now listen to us once again on Apple Podcasts and on Spotify, so do give us a listen to there. But thank you very much, guys, for another episode. Thank you, Alan, for joining me.
Thanks a lot. See you later. Take care.
Take care.
Bye-bye.
Bye.